regarding this chat today with Nikki Hall, marketing and business leader extraordinaire at Content Square, a company that I'm fascinated with. I can't wait to dive into Content Square and its digital experience platform. We're going to learn what that is. But first, Nikki, how are you?
I am doing well, Evan. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thanks for being here. Really excited to catch up. Perhaps you could introduce yourself to the viewers and a little bit about your background in the space.
Sure, yeah. So, Nikki Hall, Chief Marketing Officer of Content Square. I've been here almost 3 years. Prior to Content Square, I spent, about 20 years in high tech, Cisco, Polycom, Five9. And before that, I was on the agency side working with consumer brands, BMW and Porsche. So, I've been in marketing for a very long time. I won't say how long, I'll date myself. But everything I've been focused on is experience. How do you create better experiences for your customer so you can drive more growth and revenue?
That is a fantastically compelling value proposition. And walk us through the origin story of Content Square. How did the team get started? What was the initial vision behind the company many years ago?
Yes, and I'm so happy you said story, Evan, because good marketing is all about story, right? Storytelling. So Jonathan Cherky is our fearless leader and founder, and he started Content Square as a university project in Paris. Now, his
Wow.
grandpa was in the import-export business of legumes, right? Dried vegetables in Marseille. And he should have went into that business. His dad went into the business, his brother went into the business, and he's like, you know what, parents, you know what, family, I love you, but I don't love the import export of vegetables. What I'm passionate about is math. So let me help you with your business and figure out who's coming to your website, how long are they staying on this site, what's driving them, etc. So all the analytics around that site. And he did it for a university project, and that was about 12 years ago. And here's where we are, 18 offices later around the globe: Singapore, London, Paris, New York City, Tokyo, you name it. So it's been a really inspiring story. His story.
That's such a great story. I love founder stories. They're always so different and unique. So let's dive into it. Why does
Yeah.
user experience, UX, UI, why does it matter? And I think the whole web design process is a little broken in many
Mhm.
ways. So what say you at Content Square about the whole environment of the user these days?
Yeah, well, our brand mission is the power to make the digital world more human. So if you think about it, Evan, behind every mouse move and click, whether or not you're on your mobile device and you're scrolling up and down, or you're on your desktop scrolling left and right, up and down, there's a human trying to achieve something. So imagine a world where it can be just a frictionless experience, super seamless, super delightful, giving, understanding the emotions behind the user. Now, at Content Square, we don't care who you are. You don't have to
Mm,
use cookies if you want to use our solution, right? I mean,
mm.
privacy is a real thing. But we really care about what you're trying to achieve. So, Evan, I mean, how many times, Evan, have you been like on a site, whether it's a mobile site, and you're trying to check out and you're like, this is not working, the button's not working. So you're rage clicking, right? So what's the emotion? Rage. It's not elation. You're not happy. You're frustrated. So that's what we try to do. We try to help brands understand kind of what people are feeling behind their, clicks, their engagement with the site, whether or not it's mobile, desktop, etc.
Well, it's almost mobile or desktop, but for me and for most people, it's mobile first.
Oh yeah.
And I can't tell you how many sites work great on the web. And when you try to use the mobile first, mobile only version, it completely breaks down. How do we solve this challenge of design on mobile, mobile first?
Yeah, well, it's first understanding your customers. And you're
Hmm.
spot on. We do a digital benchmark report. We do it every year. And you can find it on our website, contentsquare.com. But this year it was based off of 40 billion, with a big B, 40 billion user sessions. It was a horizontal report, and then we verticalized it for retail, B2B, financial services, et cetera. And then we did a mobile one. And what we found is one out of every three online experiences are super frustrating, right? So you said
Hmm.
you're always on your mobile, right? I mean, we're using the desktop here because it's a podcast, but usually, if you're not tethered to your desk, you're on this mobile device. So mobile is king for all traffic for retail, and it's claiming, I think the stat is 75% of all traffic for retail shopping, but yet it's not where people are converting. It's not designed in a way, people don't have the indicators of, is someone having a good user experience on it. So, yeah, it's super interesting. I mean, there's definitely something we should do about it, because if you want to provide the best user experience, you have to understand your customer and not just ignore this important avenue of engagement.
Absolutely. And you talk a lot about data-driven decision making
Mm-hmm.
versus, just hunches. What
Yeah.
does that mean for Content Square? How do you allow customers to make those data-driven decisions, which, isn't easy getting the right data in the right places?
Yeah. Well, like I said, Jonathan, who founded the company, was a math guy and was all about data. So without data, it's just another
Mm.
opinion. So our brands use us it's true though, right? I mean, how many times, Evan, have you been in a discussion with someone and it's just points of view versus data? If you use data to support it, it's fact. So what we do is, our solution enables brands to understand, um, where are they coming in from? How long are they staying on this site? What are
Wow.
they hovering over? Yes, we have a heat map, and some companies have heat maps. But what's really unique about us, we do the revenue opportunity to that page. So we have a customer. She's the VP of Commerce at Sur La Table, and I just did a panel with her last week, and she said, "Nikki, without Content Square, I cannot survive." She's like, because people have
Wow.
different opinions, but literally, you look at the heat map, so that visually tells you kind of where you should be focused, like what's working on your site, whether it's your desktop or your mobile site, like what's working, what's green, what's red, what's yellow, and then it quantifies it. It tells the data that the impact to your business. So for Sur La Table, what is the revenue impact to that page, to that area of the
Wow.
page where people are not engaging or they are engaging? So you know where to focus.
That is wild. So it's
Yeah.
taking data and making it more actionable. So I assume there's a lot of analytics engines and
AI.
AI
Yeah.
behind the scenes. Is that
Mm-hmm.
how it works?
Exactly, right? So understanding on a single platform, so zoning, journey analysis, understanding on the single platform, then taking action with AI. So it enables commerce managers, marketers, IT to take action based off of what the site is telling them. So another example is, there's a prospect we're working with, so I'm not going to say the name, big retailer, and they have 100% of the traffic coming to the homepage. They have about 50% of it coming to a product page, like a dress, product landing page, pink dress. It might be 40%. The shipping page, it could be 35%, but checkout is only 3%. Why is that?
Wow.
So we answer the why. We can tell you the what, but we also, more importantly, tell you the why so you can do something about it. So, yeah, very, very important to understand the why.
That's fascinating. And you mentioned retail e-commerce, obviously a
Mm-hmm.
sweet spot for you. But
Yes.
this approach is applicable almost across any industry or vertical, right? You talk about good UX, UI. Do you have any, favorite case studies or customers that you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I just told you about, Sur La
Yeah.
Table, and they're a longtime customer. Gosh, we started in Europe, and so Louis Vuitton's a big customer of ours. Zoom,
Oh, fun.
Fresh, yeah, Zoom. So
Oh, wow.
when I joined a few years ago, I worked with Eric at Cisco because I was at Cisco for 12 years, and then Eric came through the WebEx acquisition. So I connect to Eric and Jonathan Cherky, and they just totally hit it off because they both have just they're really good people with good hearts and a great vision, and so they really hit it off, and that helped with the sales process too. We have BlackRock, so financial services,
Mm.
Norwegian Cruise Line, so travel and hospitality,
Oh, yeah.
um,
All
big big for
services I've
us.
used. That's awesome.
Yeah, NutriBullet, another one. So yeah, we
Mhm.
have really good brands. Asics. Anyone who wants to understand. It started out, retail is our number one vertical, and now it's
Mhm.
expanded to B2B, banking, financial services, insurance. I mean, Anyone who truly wants to understand the people that behind that mouse move and click. If you care about creating the best digital experience, whether or not it's on
Mm.
mobile, whether or not it's in an app, so if you're shopping in an app, or if you're just online, anyone who cares now, like B2B, SnapLogic, they do iPads. I mean, like,
Wow.
they're using us because they want to understand who's coming to the site, how long are they engaging, what's making them convert, what's making them exit, so they can optimize their site on every step of the journey.
That's amazing. Where do you see the future of UX going over the next number of years? I'm guessing it has to do a lot with generative AI and leveraging AI to provide even faster, better, quicker, more meaningful insights, and
Yeah,
maybe make changes on the design changes on the fly. I mean, I imagine the options are endless.
absolutely. And the conference I was at last week was all about AI. And I left with like so much in here saying, okay, there's so much I want to try. um, but yeah, I mean, the future of UX is what you asked for. And AI will help shape that. And then if you elevate it a step higher to kind of CX, right? How do you create the best customer experience, whether or not it's the shopping experience or customer service and support? I really believe there should be a world where there's one platform for intelligence, just like what
Mm,
Salesforce is for CRM. So Salesforce was not the first CRM. You had Siebel and others before them, but Salesforce came out and did it better. And most organizations have literally one platform for customer relationship management. The CEO
mm,
uses it, the CMO, his or her team, the product team uses it, the sales team, everyone uses it for relationship management. Imagine a world, Evan, where there's one platform for customer experience management or customer
mm,
experience platform where it's no longer just customer service over here. Evan, you might
mm,
be 1K in United Airlines. You call in and say, "Hello, Mr. Kirstel. I see that you have a flight to New York City.
mm,
How can I help you?" But imagine a world where if that call center agent, the customer service person, saw that you were just searching, so going to this side of the house, where Content Square plays, where you were just searching for a flight maybe to Mexico over Thanksgiving, they can say, okay, Evan's high value. There's all the data to show that he's high value. So you're in this cluster that shows you're high value. You're engaging with the site. Now, you don't even have to be talking to someone live. It could be the analytics and the data and the AI to show Evan Kirstel is a high value customer.
mm.
He's been searching for flights to Mexico. So why not offer him 20% off right now? So that way we can close the sale, right? And drive more revenue. So bridging the world of customer service and the shopping experience with one intelligent platform, I think is the future. And that's all powered by AI.
Brilliant. Well, I can't wait to experience that in person.
Yes,
Sadly, nowhere near the experience
I
today
know, right?
in many cases with some of the notable brands you mentioned accepted. The pandemic must have been quite a ride at Content Square, given the rocket of e-commerce adoption that
Mm-hmm.
we saw. What was that like? You've been in fast growth mode for a while now.
Yes. Um, I think what it did was it enabled brands, like a lot of brands thought they can only do business if they were face to face or
Mm,
even, look what happened to Zoom, right? It accelerated that growth like boom overnight. And because in order to drive your business, you needed to have some type of connectivity, right? So all of these brands that once conducted their business like in a brick and mortar way went online overnight. And if you want to understand your customer, it's no longer like Evan, you and I looking at each other right here, and I see your nonverbal communication, and I can decipher. Like I'm like, okay, is he paying attention or not, or is he kind of looking at his phone? Um, like if it's a digital, you can't see that. You're flying blind.
mm,
So you need a solution, whether or not you're retail, well, obviously retail, but if you're, I don't know, travel and hospitality, any
mm.
business now, if you want to understand your customer, you need a solution like Content Square. Like hands down, if you care about customer experience, that's what you need. So overnight, it just like accelerated our business.
Wow, that's fantastic. Congratulations. So
Thank you.
what's next? We're all getting back into the world in person. It's so wonderful being at events again. feeling the
Yes.
energy, enthusiasm. What are you looking forward to, event or otherwise, this fall? You must have a lot on the radar.
Yes. Well, it's funny. I didn't know you were going to ask the question about events, but thank you for doing that because we have this thing called CX Circle. So it's our owned event
Mm,
and it travels around the world. We intentionally kept it regional because that way we can get closer to our customers.
mm.
So last year it was over 5,000 participants who participated in what's
Wow.
called CX. I know, and really good brands. And you can find it all online. You can see like the past CX circles. And it's brands just sharing their experience about digital experience. We have our first North America one coming up in New York City, September 28th. And so it's going to be virtual. We're going to have a live stream, interviewing different people. Evan, maybe I'll even ask you if I can interview you about CX and participate in the
I'd
live
love
stream.
to. I'd
And then
love
we
to
have,
complain about my bad CX experiences. So I'm not the most uplifting person, but I
but
take
you
my
know what?
complaints to Twitter mostly.
That creates an opportunity, right? So we have really good brands. You can check it out on contentsquare.com. In the top right corner, there's CX circles, and you can see New York. So we have BlackRock, Zoom, Optimum, NASDAQ. The CDO of NASDAQ will be with us.
Wow.
CMO Snowflake, Denise Pearson. She's wonderful. Norwegian Cruise Lines. We have Microsoft, user testing, Optimizely, Monotates. So really good. Bizarre Voice, really good brands represented at this event. So I think the in person one is getting close to being full, but the virtual you can still register for. So that's what I'm
That's
most excited
fantastic.
about, and that's what's keeping me up every night because I really want to create the best experience and just kind of open everyone's eyes to the art of the possible. What can be possible? Like what you said, Evan, it doesn't have to be super frustrating. How can we use technology to bridge that gap and make the experience super seamless and enjoyable? So that's what I'm excited about.
Well, that's spectacular. I can't wait to check it out. And the other thing I get excited about each year in New York City as well is NRF, the big retail show.
Yes,
So I'm already penciled that in, I think January
it is. Yeah,
at
January.
the Javits Center. So that's always a really exciting event. And before we go, I'd love, given your, fantastic career, maybe you have some advice or insights to share with younger, up and coming, aspiring marketeers. It's a really challenging time in marketing and most professions. What's your advice to navigate corporate life, navigating this AI paradigm we're facing, and generally furthering, your career? Look at what you've done; has been spectacular. What say
Oh,
you?
thank you. Um, so if it's for the younger generations, I would say probably don't be afraid to fail and try
Mm,
new things. Take calculated risk. I learned that from John Chambers. John was always like, take
mm.
calculated risks. So definitely take calculated risks. Don't be afraid to fail. I mean, what's that quote, Evan, about Michael Jordan? He's failed so many times, and that's why he's attributes it to his
Yeah.
success. Um, Definitely try new technology like AI. AI has
Mm,
been around forever. I mean, it's not like a new thing. I mean, go back to Uber. I mean, that was powered by AI, but generative AI is super interesting. And there's really only three major players out there for Gen AI. And so even in phase one of this technology revolution, it's already a commodity. So that's super interesting. Um, so use Gen AI for maybe ideation, but don't use it for like fact-based research because it pulls from
mm,
everything. It could be fiction, nonfiction. So you can use it for ideation. And my biggest piece of advice when using Gen AI is to become a prompt AI engineer, like knowing
mm.
what questions to ask and why. Because depending upon what you ask, it will help fuel kind of ideas. I don't believe the human will ever go away. You still need humans. It's going to make us more productive. But to differentiate your brands as a marketer, you always have to differentiate. And to differentiate your brand, you need that human touch. But the Gen AI can give you kind of like a step by step, like things to think through that you might not have thought through. And finally, tie everything to data. Again, without
Mm.
data, it's just another opinion. So everything you do, tie it to data. the business objectives of the company. Your marketing strategy should be tied to that. Make sure you have smart objectives, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bounds. Like if it's tied to data, there'll be no arguments of, is marketing driving growth or is it a chief magic officer? No, it's not a chief magic officer. It's a business partner driving real business results. So.
I love that advice. And yeah, you're so right. I mean, data science can be so overwhelming and intimidating. And I think what Content Square is doing, what Gen AI is doing, is kind of democratizing, making it more accessible, that data sets, and accessible to a wider community. So great advice. So exciting. Well, thank you so much for sharing the
Thank you.
insights and the update, and good luck with September. We're going to be watching on Twitter, LinkedIn, all the places. And thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to reach out to Nikki or me with any questions, feedback you might have. All right. Take care. Thanks so much.